You also booked me the worst flight in history, bro. Middle seat, no meal, no check bag.
Russo'sBrand.com, where the pros are the pros.
You were over in England at the Global Wrestling Kingdom's new Kingdom Rises event, which was a charity event for survivors of domestic abuse and homeless veterans.
Yeah, I met the mayor. It was the mayor's personal charities. The mayor's a really great guy, really was. And the community, Barnsley, it's a nice community over there. It's really nice. So I'm not just saying that, like when we were driving through, I was like, oh, it's not a bad little area. And the venue was really nice. And they had a great, turnout for the very first show. And everybody had a great time. It was a really good event.
Well, with that event, reports came out that former WWE star Matt Riddle was booked on the show and no-showed. And the report stated from Cultaholic that those associated with Global Wrestling Kingdom claimed that Riddle had been booked months before. But in the lead up to the show, Riddle began complaining about both his flight and his hotel accommodations in Barnsley, claiming that the former was too cheap. Attempts to placate Riddle by organizing wrestling seminars to earn him some extra money failed to materialize, and Riddle, who never canceled his booking, didn't fly to the UK days before. The report goes on to say that in an email correspondence between Riddle and Global Wrestling Kingdom, that Riddle told the promotion he had taken another booking, but could still potentially make the show on Sunday. At that point, however, Riddle never responded to further emails, and he proceeded to attend Eric Bischoff's Real American Freestyle first event in Cleveland on Saturday, with reports emerging he's expressed interest in joining them. And then on Sunday was in Boca Raton, Florida, in a surprise appearance.
Yeah.
So according to this report, also Global Wrestling did issue refunds to the fans for the meet and greets that were supposed to be taking place with Riddle, but they also they have not received the deposit back from Riddle that they gave him for the show. Now, Matt Riddle has put out 2 videos that I have responding to this, so I don't know if you want me to play those first or if you want to respond, if you guys want to discuss this before I play Riddle's video.
Well, we can discuss it first if you want. I mean, I was there, and I saw a message that was forwarded to me from Riddle, and the rest of it, I'm not personally involved, so I don't, you know what I mean? I don't know. So I'm just telling you what I was told, and I can tell you based on the message. So a lot of what you said was, I guess, somewhat accurate. He was contacted, and this was all arranged quite a while ago, as was I. I don't know exactly when he was and when he agreed. He was sent a deposit, from what I understand. Again, I don't know because it wasn't sent to me. I know that on Friday, the promoter sent someone down to pick Riddle up at Heathrow. And then that was when he discovered, the driver discovered that Riddle had not boarded the plane. And in fact, hadn't even really, once the promoter checked, hadn't even entered his passport information for the flight. The promoter contacted him. Riddle pointed out that he wasn't coming because he said that once he checked the flight, that he saw that he had a middle seat. There wasn't a meal offered on the flight, which all international flights offer a meal. Claimed that it was the cheapest flight on the cheapest seat, and that he wasn't coming. He had an opportunity to go to Cleveland on Friday night for his rate, and then also was going to the Eric Bischoff freestyle show that Fox was interested in him, which meant that they might be willing to sign him and then pay him, which was a no-brainer. And then did say that he could make the Sunday event if still desired, let him know, and then apologized for it happening or whatever, even though he had never gotten on the plane. I recommended, I said, well, business-wise, you should probably ask for your deposit back. I said, because you send a deposit to hold a date by the talent, and then if the talent don't make the show, usually, in my case, I would send the deposit back because I didn't make the show. Something came up. That would be, I didn't follow my part at the end. That was it. And then I advised them that we offer a refund before the end of the first match. And we reached out and I contacted Grado, who was willing to be a replacement. So I came out at the start of the show said that due to unforeseen circumstances that Matt Riddle would not be attending the show that day. And then if anybody wanted a refund, they could get one prior to the end of the first match. I said, but I think you'll be happy with the replacement that we got. Brought Grado out, got a huge response. Nobody requested a refund. I think one person did request a refund for the meet and greet, but nobody requested a refund beyond that. And Grado came out and we did a little angle with he and Simon Miller, and they went on and had a great main event. And, the show was a very positive event.
Let's hear it, Jeff, because I've not seen this clip yet.
Yeah, so these are 2 videos that Riddle put out on X.
Okay.
I'm going to make this quick. GWK. The reason I didn't go is because you booked me a flight for Thursday for a show that was happening Sunday, and you said you were booking me meet and greets, other matches, and appearances. You did none of that. I had nothing scheduled, and I was going to sit in a hotel room for 2 days in London. I told you multiple times I can't do that or wouldn't do that, and I got work for Friday and Saturday. And Thursday. I worked Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And I told you I'd fly to London Saturday evening. You said you paid for it. I go, no, you paid for it. Take it out of my pay, whatever. You guys refused. So I flew to Miami and wrestled there. All right? I never said I wouldn't pay you guys back. That's a lie. Also, this show wasn't a charity event. That's a lie. That was a last-second change. You also booked me the worst flight in history, bro. Middle seat, no meal, no check bag. GWK, this is probably your last run.
Do you want to respond to that first one first before we do the second one?
Well, and I understand where he's coming from. I don't know when he was originally supposed to fly out or fly in. I think it was Friday, which was for a Sunday show. And yeah, I mean, in those situations, typically, if it's a Sunday show, you're flying out probably, going to get in on Saturday, the day before on an international, because you don't want any mishaps to screw up the flight and you arrive late and you're there for Sunday. So at the most, you're usually there a day ahead of time, 2 days or 3 days, and then just sitting around. It is a lot to ask, because when you're on the road, you're away from home. And if you're away from home, you want to be always making money. So that I understand. As far as, anything else, I really can't. The charity, as far as I knew, it was a charity event. The proceeds were to go to benefit that, as far as I knew. And I knew that before I left and went over there. And I think that was a mistake by they flew me in early as well, earlier than should have needed to be. And
Did you have a middle seat?
No, I did not have a middle seat. I actually had a pretty nice seat, both ways, to and from. So I was pretty as comfortable as you can be on a plane.
Can you imagine if they book Al in the middle seat and the head in the aisle seat? Can you imagine?
That's happened,
Unbelievable.
That's why Head and I argue all the time, because I'm like, you got to get in the bag. And they're like, I don't want to get in the bag. I go through TSA. I could get cancer because I go in through the x-rays. I'm like, shut up. It's not like they're wearing a lead vest or anything.
Let's hear the second explanation here, Jeff.
I could explain everything in great detail. I'm not lying. But I really don't give a anymore. Most of you motherfuckers are dumb cunt. Just like when you believe that Me Too bullshit, all the other garbage. You guys are all dumb. And it's insane. It's insane. Believe these creeps? Whatever, dog. At the end of the day, I'm going to keep getting booked. I'm probably going to start fighting again. I'm probably going to do a lot of other shit. Crushing on OnlyFans because I've got a big what, and I'm nice as dude. Everybody, if you don't like me, unfollow, go yourselves, all right? I don't give a because at the end of the day, the cream rises to the top, and I'm really, really tired of trying to be nice to everybody, because I hate to break it to you, most of you guys are morons. Peace.
Very nice. Al, how do you feel about that, Al?
Look, I'm sure that, like they always say, there's his side, and then there's the truth. Look, I only know what little bit I know from the outside of things, not much more than that. I'm sure there was probably some miscommunication and some misorganization on probably both sides in some way, in some manner. And, it's an unfortunate situation that probably should have never happened in the first place.